All right, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be doing the new clutch, flywheel, pilot bearing, and hopefully have the transmission up by the end of the day. First thing we are going to do, rip this flex plate off, put our pilot bearing in. Did get our clutch pressure plate, everything's all new. So first thing I do want to talk about is the pilot bearing. There's two options from GM. There's this one, which actually has a roller bearing, so you can see it's got some needles in there. And then the Carolina clutch kit actually comes with a pilot bearing. Let's see if I can find it in this box here. Yep, there it is. So it comes with a bushing rather than the roller bearing. So they both are the same diameter, but I like the roller over the bushing, just my preference. So we are going to use that. One thing I always recommend is to check on the transmission, make sure everything slides on right, nice, has plenty of clearance, which these both are the same. As far as the clutch set goes here, this is Carolina Clutch's stage 2.5. So it does come with difference between stage 2 and 2.5. It comes with the same pressure plate, throw-out bearing, but the clutch is slightly different. So on the 2, you just have a traditional non-pucked, I'll say uniform clutch on both sides. This has a puck on one side and the full clutch on the other. This is supposed to be rated for about, I think it was 475. This normal stage 2 is rated for 425. So wanted to go with just a little bit beefier, mainly because this is going to be more of a track car. This will be a little less forgiving, a little less enjoyable on the street, but that's okay for what I'm doing. I also went with an aluminum flywheel. So this actually reduces 27 pounds over the factory steel dual mass. So this is a single mass flywheel, which does make the transmissions noisier, but should make it rev a lot quicker, and also a lot less rotating mass. One of the other things I did grab from Carolina Clutch was a shim kit for the transmission. So this is supposed to help with the rattling noise that you hear when you go from the dual mass to a single mass. So we'll do a video of what that looks like going in. But basically this little plate here you pop out, and then there's some shims you change out, which I'll have to look at the instructions to do that. But that will be part of process as I'm going through cleaning this up, getting it ready to go in. But what I am going to start with is go ahead and getting the flywheel, clutch, everything like that ready to go. We'll get the bell housing, the slave cylinder, and clutch fork, everything up ready to go except for the transmission, and then go back to the transmission and start doing some cleanup. We'll go ahead and drain the fluid on it while I got it on the ground and try to clean it up real nice. One other thing I did forget to mention when ordering this, so you'll see that there's basically a difference in time frame for a year, and the biggest difference in that is going to be your throw-out bearing. So the throw-out bearing size did change sometime around late 93, 94. There's some different information out there on the internet on when it actually changed. Some people say it's a difference between the black tag and the blue tag. Some people say it's not. But what I recommend and what I did is you actually want to measure this shaft here, this collar that doesn't rotate. So there is a different size here. Don't know if it's related to black tag or blue tag. Like I said, there's different opinions on the internet. But this should be either a 1.305 or 1.375. So there's 70 thousandths difference between the two. And based on that, it determines if you need the bigger or the smaller pilot bearing. So I have the 375, which is the bigger of the two. This is a black tag, which most people say all of the black tags have the 375. Some of the blue tags have 375. Some of them have the 305. So I had to get a clutch that was basically up to 93 from Carolina Clutch. That's going to be the difference on the pilot bearing size, or sorry, the throwout bearing size. So got all that in there. Everything's good to go. Did come with hardware, new hardware in the kit itself. So it's got stuff for the flywheel and for the pressure plate, which is great. So we're pretty much ready to start throwing all the new parts on here after we get this ripped off and new pilot bearing installed. So I'm gonna set up a little time lapse of this going on. It is probably, time lapse probably isn't gonna be great today, just because the area I'm working in and my head's gonna be in the way, but I'm gonna try to give you the best view possible of what I'm doing. Got the clutch, flywheel, bell housing, all that stuff put in. You can see from the time lapse. Now I'm going to do a little cleaning on this. A couple of parts gonna stick on it. So I do have a new seal for the rear seal. So see, this one's got a hole in it. So I got it out. I'm gonna go ahead and put a fresh rear seal in it. Then I've got, like I said, the rattle reduction kit for the flywheel. So I'll do the video rather than a time lapse of installing that. But anyway, just gonna do a time lapse of me changing the seal, going through cleaning it up. I do need to get the fluid out of it. Go ahead and start draining that, and then I'll fill it up once it's back in the car. Everything's level and set the way it should be. I might fill it up here just to make it easier. Haven't decided yet, but one of the things I am going to do though is put a temp sensor in it. So unfortunately there's not a port for the temp sensor. I had one in my 4L60 that came out of it. Goes right here where the plug's at. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill and tap this drain plug. So then I can put the drain plug in. Then I can screw this in, and then we'll be able to have trans temp. Since I already have the gauge, I'm not necessarily worried about the temp of the trans, but I already got the gauge in it, already got the car wired for it, might as well utilize it. So once I flip it over and take a look at it, make sure there's no other ports for it, and I'll see how thick that drain plug is, see if it's got enough thickness that I can feel comfortable drilling and tapping it and it's not going to leak. Probably do that. So yeah, I'm just going to do a time lapse of a few things. Once I kind of get it cleaned up and where I want it, we'll come back and do a video of changing, putting that shim kit in the front, popping that panel out, and going through there. Alright, so did rough cleaning, got our new seal in, shifter boot, outside boot back on, made a mess. But now we're getting ready to do the shim kit. So it does come with instructions. It's just 2-piece, this washer, and then a new cover. Basically what it's saying is this counterbalance that this is underneath this is under shimmed to take up for certain things. Manufacturing processes, basically not holding as tight tolerances, so they under-shimmed it. Not by much, they're saying under-shimmed by 0.001 or 0.002, so that's just an oversized shim. Basically instructions says cut a hole in the center of the cover. So I'm just going to drill a small hole, and then we'll pry that out. And looks like there's a C-clip got to take out. Take the old washer out, new washer in, then C-clip back in and cover back on. So should be pretty quick. So we'll set you up here and see how it goes. And one thing you're going to see here, I've lost my hammer somewhere in my garage, so I'm using a framing hammer. Don't mind me. Lost my framing, my good hammer, or my smaller punch somewhere. That's out. Never going to be seen again. So super thin. Doesn't take much to drill through it. Big snap ring pliers here. Keep that one. Magnet. There's the old shim. Now it's just slightly bigger. Okay, and that's it. Pop this little cap back in. That's it, done. Super easy. So, got another car, the blue car that I'm sure you've seen some of my other videos. Doesn't have that in there. So we'll see how this does, and if it works out nice, I might pull that transmission out of the other car and put one in it, because it is very noisy and no insulation on the tunnel or anything because it's a race car, and sounds like transmission's falling out of it at an idle. But, okay, so we're pretty much done here. Gonna go ahead and work on that temp sensor. Try to get the plugs back in it now that I've let it drain all over the floor. Might not have enough trans fluid here to fill it up, but it's doable in the car. So I'm gonna try to get this back in the car today, and then we'll probably end the video off there. All right, so we've got the transmission pretty much ready to go. I didn't have enough fluid, and then I got to thinking about it. I want it in the car anyways, that way I don't have to worry about any fluid coming out of the tail shaft. So I really want to get the drive shaft back in and everything before we start putting fluid. So I did order that. Gonna put it in with no fluid. What I did do for my temp sensor here though, I drilled and tapped for the temp sensor, and it fit just perfectly in there with room around it so that I can basically tighten the plug, then tighten the temp sensor. Now I'll be able to keep track of what the temps look like on this. So gonna go ahead and get the car back up in the air, and similar to how I did the auto trans removing it, I'm gonna do the same thing with the manual trans, putting it back in. So we'll lift the car up in the air, put the trans underneath it, and then lower the car onto the trans, and we'll start putting that in. Then I can get the everything bled on the master and slave, and we'll have a transmission in it. So gonna do a time lapse of that, and that'll probably end the video off for today.